Hey friends, this is actually going to be our last laptop review that we do here in South Africa and the last Wootware partnership video that we do here in South Africa. So sad times, but this is an amazing laptop. So I'm happy to go out on this one with a bang. And we're going to tell you about this specific laptop after I tell you about today's video sponsor. Today's actually brought to you by our sexy tech merch. My friends, look at this. Look at this Mobo that we got right here. Look at this press F to pay respects. Oh, that's not good enough for you? How about the Tech Gator? Oh, that's not good enough for you? My friends, how about a floppy disk that's so hot, it could turn you into a hard drive? Check out the hot floppy shirt. Anyways, use the link in the video description. You can check out our merch. It helps to support us to get back to the United States. These are awesome designs. I love them so much. We just finally got the t-shirts in so I can show them off to you. I'm gonna be wearing them forever. They're mine now. We also have a beach towel for the Tech Gator one. My wife has it in the United States. We also have coffee mugs and whatnot. Check out our merch. So what we have here is known as the Wootbook Pro 1660 Ti, also known as the Tongfeng GK5CP5V anywhere else in the world. It's obviously a gaming laptop packed to the gills with specs, and my favorite thing about Tongfeng's notebooks right now is the fact that there's just hardly any branding on them. If you buy from some of the people who sell Tongfeng in the States, they put their own branding on it. But thankfully, at least thankfully for me, Wootware doesn't slap a logo across the back. There is a logo when you boot up the laptop, but overall, this is a sleek, minimalistic gaming laptop. It doesn't look like a gaming laptop, so you can justify the purchase to your boss, but then still get an i7-9750H, a GTX 1660 Ti, up to 32 gigs of RAM on the two DIMM slots, up to 4 terabytes of NVMe storage on the two M.2 slots. You can pack this thing to the gills and have it still look like it's a professional laptop. The Rgb keyboard might give you away a little bit, but thankfully you can turn off the RGB if you want, but it's a 4-zone RGB setup, which is okay. I'd rather have a white backlight here, but the keys do have the translucent bottoms that allow the RGB to shine through pretty decently, but in case you wanna hide it from your boss, just set them to white, okay? Then you're good to go. About that keyboard specifically though, it actually has a pretty interesting design that I personally haven't experienced before on a gaming laptop, and that is that they have convex keycaps. They actually round up. So it doesn't actually feel like you're going into the keys, it feels like the keys are caressing you, which is a backwards reality that I'm not necessarily sure I'm ready for, but I did enjoy. I actually like the convex keycaps. Speaking of the keyboard, there is a unique design feature because this is a 15.6-inch laptop, and typically laptop manufacturers either just keep a standard QWERTY keyboard with 10 keyless and just kind of pack it in there, but Tongfeng decided to smush in a numpad for some reason. And it's shorter than a numpad. You don't have the enter, the plus key, or the fourth row of keys, and I can't decide if I like it or not, because typically I'm very muscle memory when it comes to using my numpad. I use the enter and the plus all of the time to actually use a numpad. Not having it there is bizarre. So I don't know if it's better to have it or not. Personally, I would have liked it removed and just had empty space there. That's just my thought on this, but you might have different preferences and you're okay with an included numpad. The touchpad, perfectly decent, no issues whatsoever. It's smooth, it works like a numpad or a touchpad should. No click buttons, but I mean, that's pretty standard these days. Display is quite good, 15.6 inches, IPS, only 60 Hertz, but it does have 72% NTSC color coverage, which is roughly 100% sRGB. It does have narrow bezels around the side, which allows it to be a more discrete form factor when it comes to the 15.6 inch, and the display comes in at 300 nits. So IPS, everything looks good. We didn't really have any IPS panel bleed. Obviously that's gonna depend unit to unit, but solid display, great for actual video editing. You have the i7-9750H to give you that power behind that in case you wanna use this for productivity reasons. But in case you wanna use this for gaming, well then that 1660 Ti can help you play 1080p games, 60 FPS, no problem. And if we're gonna talk about heat dissipation for a second while playing those games, our GPU hit around 80 degrees Celsius average, whereas the CPU is 75 degrees average, and then the GPU averaged 1750 on the core clock, whereas the CPU averaged 3.5 gigahertz the entire time. So basically, the heat dissipation is actually better than a lot of other gaming laptops that I've tried out, where they typically get in the 90 to 100 region and try to allow you to burn everything away on your legs while you're playing video games on them, and then your thigh hairs are singed. I don't like that. This Wootbook Pro doesn't do that for you. It keeps those temperatures in check, which is partially thanks due to the open vent system that they have on the bottom. The fans on the bottom of this laptop help to keep everything cool. Temperatures were well within spec, and thankfully those fans are actually rather quiet, coming in at an average of 70 decibels with a peak of 75 decibels. The fan isn't whisper quiet, but it also isn't a screaming banshee while you're playing video games. Battery life, actually, I was quite impressed with the Wootbook Pro. It has a 62 watt-hour 4-cell battery, and I was able to manage 3.5 hours of battery life on just normal use case, high performance mode, screen set to about 2/3 brightness. If I'm being careful, put it on power saver before I do anything with it, kind of just watch YouTube videos, and I can get over 5 hours on this thing, which for a gaming laptop is quite respectable these days. I talked about all of the internal features that you get with this, but let's talk about external. You get an SD card reader, which is gonna be great for anybody who's doing any sort of productivity, Premiere Pro, whatnot. 2 USB 3.1 Type A ports on the right-hand side. On the back, you have 2 mini display ports, an HDMI 1.4, a Type C cable, and then the power connector, which I don't really like on the back, but it is what it is. And then on the left-hand side, you got Ethernet, a USB Type 2, and then mic and headphone jack, respectively. So overall, this is actually a really solid laptop. Construction quality is fantastic. Keyboard types really well, even if it does have convex keys and a weird numpad. Display, great. Performance, fantastic for the specs. But let's talk about price. Coming here in South Africa, the base price of this Wootbook Pro is around 14,000 Rand or $955. With in its current config, which is what Wootware sent it to me with, is 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 500 gig NVMe SSD, we are looking at around 16,386 Rand, which is around $1,180. Compared to the competitors in the local scene, this is actually a steal because it comes in 3,000 to 4,000 Rand cheaper than all of the local competitors, which are like in the HP and Dell regions of laptops. So you're looking at 20,000 to 21,000 Rand for the closest competitor. Less than 16,500 for this exact same spec is a ridiculous price. Then if we take a look at the US market, you've got CyberPower PC seems to be the main seller of these Tongfeng notebooks. I couldn't find the exact same specification, which is a 15-inch with the 1660 Ti in the right design with the same panel, but the CyberPower PC Tracer 3 17 Turbo, which has a 17-inch display, comes in at $1,369 for 144 hertz. The 15-inch one, which has a 2060, is only $1,300, and then the 15-inch one with the 1650 is only $1,000. If you compare that to the US competitor, you're actually looking at around $1,400 for the similar unit with 144 hertz in 15 inches. So you save at least $100 to $200 by going with CyberPower with this Tongfeng laptop. And everything about this is just so good. It only weighs 2.1 kilograms or 4.62 pounds. It's easy to tote around. It's great at performance. It stays relatively cool for a gaming laptop. The fans also don't annoy the heck out of me, and it's just a solid laptop overall. So I'm happy with it. The price is great, as I mentioned. You should definitely check it out if you're looking for a 1660 Ti laptop. And you should also check out today's video sponsor. Don't forget to check out our merch. It's amazing, sexy merch. Buy our sexy tech merch, you know you wanna. Sorry for the quick change in audio quality. We just wanted to record in what was our first office, which is actually just a little like granny flat that's at the back of my house. And this is where Wootware set up their sign, and we did many videos with them. And as we're leaving South Africa, I just wanted to take this moment to kind of reflect on how amazing they've been, because this channel certainly would not be where it is without them. They've done more for this channel and for me personally and for my family and for everything we've done here in South Africa than I would have ever imagined when I first reached out to them just over 4 years ago. It was September of 2015 that I did my first video with them, which was a Skylake PC build back then. And it's crazy to think how far we've come. And now they have their own laptops and they're fantastic and amazing, and I have loved doing videos with them. They have not sponsoring this video, but they've been a great partner throughout the entire years, and I would just like to end this video saying thank you to them. Thank you, Roy, Matt, and the team, Aki, Chris. You guys have been fantastic over the years. Dimitri, the entire Wootware team, you guys have been awesome. And if I've missed any of your names, it's not because I don't love you as much, it's just because I have limited time. So we're gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching this review of the laptop. Bye.